And before Ross leaves us, I'm just going to share my screen and we'll cover some of the top questions. If
Sure.
you have access to the Slido, please just vote for the questions that you agree with, and we'll cover those ones first. So, Ross, I wonder if you could help with this. We've had quite a few questions about paying for the UCAS fee. Do you have any tips if somebody is struggling to pay for the UCAS fee?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the application fee, it would need to be paid to submit the application to us. The only thing I can suggest in that point, if you're looking for any support with it, is to perhaps you could speak to a university or college individually that you're looking to apply to, and they may be able to give some advice on that in terms of the fee. But essentially, it would need to be paid to submit it to UCAS still. But you could have that conversation with one of the universities or colleges that you're looking to apply to. They may be able to look at that with you.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, and I definitely echo that. Always good to check with the university or college, and don't hesitate to get in touch with them if you have specific questions.
Sure.
And this next one, that we've had quite a few questions about admissions requirements and qualifications that people might need. Do you have any tips for people if they have questions like this about applying to university if they haven't studied in the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can still apply with the qualifications that you have that aren't from the UK. That's absolutely fine. You can one of the things you can do on the application is you either search for the qualification that you have and enter it from the list that's provided, or you can enter it manually. So there's an option to search for other, and if you select that option, you can select the qualifications that you've got. Obviously, to see if you've actually can meet the requirements that are being asked, do check on the university and college website or our course search to see what's highlighted as the entry requirements, and that can actually highlight to whether you can actually meet what's being asked. But yeah, you can absolutely still apply with international qualifications. Yeah, we do have applicants from all over the world, so absolutely no problem.
Brilliant, thank you. And again, contact the university. The admissions team might be able to help you if it's not clear if your qualification from overseas is equivalent to what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I'll just mention as well, in the applicant pack that we shared in the chat, there's a link to ENIC, E-N-I-C, and they provide a statement of comparability that can be helpful to translate your qualification to the UK context. There is, though, a cost for that, so it can be best to check with the university first. Okay, thanks, Ross. And I'm not sure if you're able to help with this about IELTS. We've had quite a few questions about IELTS and English language requirements. Is there anything you'd recommend?
That's more of an individual basis for universities and colleges. So do check again from their entry requirements, either from their website or our course search. It will highlight if that's required or where it needs to be given to them at that point. So I probably couldn't do it as a blanket for all universities and colleges, but there is obviously an option to enter your IELTS details on the application. So absolutely, you can, but just check it with them first of all, I would.
Right, yeah, every university sets their own English language requirements. Some of them might not ask for IELTS, and you can always contact them again if you have any questions about their requirements. And another question here, I think you've already covered, if you have a qualification from overseas and you're not sure if it is relevant to the course that you're applying to, best to check with the individual university. Scholarships we're going to move on to talk to in a second, and some of these questions about moving as an asylum seeker we'll cover later. To be able to apply as an asylum seeker, I think you already talked about your tips for kind of sharing information in the application form. Is there anything else you'd add there?
Absolutely. Please go ahead and do the application. There was one other thing I was going to mention earlier, is that we do have, I'm just trying to remember where I listed it. There is a personal statement guide as well that's developed by students to help refugees and asylum seekers with their personal statement. I was just trying to find the link, but yeah, there is a specific guide as well that can help you absolutely for UCAS.com. So do search for our particular page. So that can support you with that section, which I know obviously is a big part of the form they'll need to complete. So do have a look at that.
Yes, we've got a link to information for refugees and asylum seekers in the START application pack. And that personal statement guide was developed with STAR's equal access activists. So it's got some good tips in it.
Perfect.
But yeah, what I hope you're taking from today's session is that if you are seeking asylum, or regardless of what your immigration status is, there are opportunities for you to apply to university. Again, scholarships we will cover in the second part of the session. Just going to see if there are any other UCAS specific questions before you leave, Ross. Scholarships. This is a good one, perhaps. Should I go to college first or go straight to uni? Do you have any tips about considering the kind of the question of if somebody is ready to go to university?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just thinking about whether you're ready for that, or straight away, or looking at the courses that are available. Is if you've got what's being asked for a university course in terms of the entry requirements, then absolutely you could look at that as a particular option. But there are different perks and feelings towards both, and how you'll learn. So it's probably a case again of really researching both options if you're in that situation. Thinking whether you're ready for it, and thinking about locations around the country and making that transition. As I said, for me, going from a small place to a big place like a large university was right at that time in my life, and it's thinking about the same for you as well.
Great, thank you. Oh, scroll down too far. There's a question I was going to ask. You mentioned your careers quiz.
Yeah.
So I think that answers this question here. If you're struggling to decide, the careers quiz I definitely recommend is a good place to start. Any other tips, Ross, if somebody's struggling to decide?
That's one of the best things to be using. Yeah, use the careers quiz online and sort of go through those questions, because they really do sort of get some things out of you that you may not have thought about. Even if you know what you want to do, it's just worth using it. And really speaking to people around you, your peers, and anybody that can give you that sort of guidance and advice that you need. But definitely, there's some fantastic tools and support you can use on the UCAS Hub.
Great. Yeah, and just to say again, all of the specific questions about specific courses and subjects, please do check with the universities what their requirements are. We aren't able to give you firm answers there, but use the UCAS website to explore and find the courses that you're interested in, and then contact the university if you have any questions about their admissions requirements. The office or the place that you should apply to in the university, well, what Ross is explaining, the UCAS system means that you don't always have to apply to the university. If you're applying for an undergraduate course, you can apply through the UCAS website, so it makes it nice and easy. If you are trying to contact the university though, it's the admissions team that you want to contact to ask about any questions you have about joining the university. Anything you'd add to that, Ross?
Yes, you're applying for. We send an application to UCAS. We send it to them at the universities and colleges, and it is the admissions team that look over the application. If you have any questions that aren't through the website or the online forms or the social media, you would be contacting and asking to speak to admissions if you ring the university, to discuss something on the application or a question you had about a course. Don't be afraid to call them and ask those things that are on your mind, because that they will give you the sense of what it's like to be there and really understand the course you're applying to. One other thing I didn't mention earlier is UniBuddy. So you remember that term, UniBuddy. You can actually join UniBuddy and speak to students that are at a university or college that you're looking to apply to. So you can actually ask those questions about maybe a course you're looking to do, or what it's like to be in that part of the country and study. So yeah, why not just ask the students that are already there? So that's definitely something that I'd recommend as well to give you some help with.
Yes, brilliant. And we have a link in the application pack as well to the STAR's Equal Access Network, which is something you can join to connect with other students and applicants from refugee backgrounds. Just a question here in terms of applying through UCAS, Ross. if somebody has started university in another university overseas, can they register in UCAS as a transfer student to continue the same degree?
So absolutely, you can apply through UCAS if you have started a degree. I think the biggest thing with that is to really be speaking to the university you're looking to transfer to, obviously making sure you've got the credits or the result you've had up to say the first or second year before looking to transfer, and having that initial discussion on whether it's possible from what you've done so far to being continued with here in the UK. I don't know for certain. I can't confirm whether the two would marry up to complete the degree. It's down to that university or college. It's obviously a process that can happen. I've seen it happen within obviously the UK where you can transfer, but I don't know from international or from European universities as mentioned here. So it really is a case-by-case basis, having the discussion with the one you're looking to transfer to, and they'll either say yes or no, or the process you'll need to do to perhaps just reapply and start the degree with them here.
Thanks very much. That's really helpful. I'm conscious of time, but we'll just do 2 more questions if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Question here: if somebody was unsuccessful last year and they reapply again, would this have an impact on their current application?
Absolutely. If you're unsuccessful, there's nothing stopping you reapplying in another application cycle. They're receiving the application in another cycle, so they're still being asked to make a decision when that comes through. Anybody applies by the 20th of January is equally considered by all universities and colleges that receive it. So in other words, if you're reapplying, it doesn't matter. Your application is being sent by the deadline, and they will be considering it and making a decision for you.
Brilliant, thank you. And just a question: if somebody doesn't have any formal qualifications at all, what would you recommend that they start off with?
I mean, if they don't have any qualifications, there's lots of options they could do. Like you said, thinking about a college they may want to look at and look at some of the qualifications that are available. If you're thinking about long-term, thinking about universities that you may want to go to, you can at this point search through the courses and have a look at some of the entry requirements that are being asked for, and then work back to maybe looking at a local college to study perhaps a BTEC or an A-level or whichever qualifications that are needed. Obviously that's something that will be as a requirement to get onto these university courses, and sometimes it's worth kind of looking at that future goal and then working backwards of what you need and looking at what's around you to study those qualifications. And there really are lots of options now in terms of qualifications that are available. So I think could reel off quite a few lists of them, but if you actually find out what's being asked for and then do the research of where you can do them and what the particular different qualifications are like, because again, if you want a more practical related qualification, because that's how you like to learn and be assessed, then find those courses for qualifications, and they are still as relevant as more theory-based ones.
Yeah, excellent advice. Yeah, I think that just emphasizes how important the research stage is. If you take that time to find the right option for you, it will pay off in the long term. And again, I know we've said it a lot already, but don't hesitate to contact universities. If you feel comfortable explaining your background, they will be able to advise you about any support that they offer that might help you to prepare for a course. And I'll be talking a little bit more about things like English language programs that universities offer, or they might even have different admissions requirements if you are from a refugee or asylum seeking background. So if you can talk to a university and start building that relationship, that can be part of your research process. Okay, thank you so much, Ross, for your really helpful presentation.